Hello, my name is Linda, also known as Tortagialla around the internet, and I love creative journaling and all things stationery. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is a journal with me in real time. So if you want to go grab your journal and your supplies, you can go ahead and journal with me. So normally I do like sped up videos and things because oftentimes I am not journaling all in one session. I do it like in bits and pieces and I just leave it on my desk. And so it's hard to record like a whole real time kind of thing. But this time around I had like 30 minutes, so I decided to just do it in real time. So here you can see I was opening up my camel TN and the string got caught under the patch and it was like ripping it off. And I was like, oh, so I just got to re-glue that. And I realized the reason why this patch didn't glue very well is because the patch is not like the type that you're supposed to embroider. It's the type that you're supposed to iron on, which means it had like that plasticky or like, I don't know, silicone or whatever material under it. So when you're gluing it down, it's much easier for like it to lift off of the glue. Whereas if it was a completely just embroidery patch that you're supposed to sew on, just regular glue would like attach it very well, because I've definitely attached other patches before onto traveler's notebook covers and there hasn't been an issue. But anyways, I will just re-glue that in. So in this traveler's notebook, I have the monthly insert, and really I bought it because I wanted like the stickers. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it yet, but I decided that I would just do like a random collage once a month using the prompts written up by Cafe Analog, which is a store, a stationery store online, and you can find them on Instagram. And they've posted about this called Project Me, where they've just written up like monthly prompts with page design themes to select from and writing prompts. So it just gives you like a jump start for journaling, and it's something that's nice to follow along with because it's once a month, so it's really easy to keep up with. So you're just doing one spread a month. And this time around, I am showing you what I'm going to do for April. So you can see those were the prompts. And I decided this time around I was actually going to just quickly do some journaling after reading the prompt. So I'm using my olive Coeco with, I forget what is the actual ink that's inside, an olive colored ink, because I'm totally matchy-matchy like that, and I want the ink to match with the fountain pen itself. And I think it's interesting how most of the times when I see journal with me's or Instagrams, whether it's sped up or in real time, usually people tend to like decorate and collage and do like the visual part first, and then you'll see at the end people will then add a little bit of journaling or hidden journaling, or add in like a whole tip in with lots of journaling. But again, it's always visual decoration, all like the fun stickers and all that kind of stuff first, and then journaling. I just feel like it's quite rare to see the opposite, maybe, in terms of these types of collage like journaly pages, as opposed to someone who maybe is showcasing like their Hobonichi or something, where they're journaling and then they add like, one sticker or something, or washi on the bottom kind of thing. So I just decided to turn things around this time and write first and then just decorate around it. And I don't know. I don't think that there is like a right or wrong. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but I just thought it was interesting to do it sort of the opposite way, because once you finish the journaling, then you'll know how much space you have available for the decoration. And oftentimes, I think when you read like a prompt, you can obviously respond to it with words like journaling, or visually with collage and colors and motifs. So both, types of creation are obviously valid. It just depends on what you prefer. And I tend to do like a little of both, like there's words, thoughts and things like that I want to write down, and oftentimes it's like long form type journaling in terms of like complete sentences and things, but sometimes it's like a mishmash, like stream of consciousness, or a mix of phrases and stuff. Like obviously with your own personal journaling, it doesn't matter if you're doing like proper, punctuation or complete sentences or whatever. You can do whatever you want. So I did very quick journaling here. It's not very long, definitely. One thing that I realized is that I'm not, like, I've never been a fan of my own handwriting. I just think it's really annoying. And obviously, I do much worse when there aren't like lines or a grid or graph. So I totally write crooked like all the time. So it really, irritates me. And this is when I'm doing like cursive writing, right? Instead of like, if I try really hard, maybe I can print and make it look a lot neater. But I definitely vary. Like, I wish I could be one of those people with really beautiful penmanship, or at least consistency, like in their penmanship. Whereas I tend to be like, my handwriting changes drastically depending on how I feel. So I guess it like transfers out through my hand, depending, like, if I'm angry or sad or rushed or feeling anxious, and then I start writing faster and messier, or if I'm like really calm and I write really slow, writing bigger, writing smaller, like it definitely comes out in my handwriting. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but I always used to think, like, when they have those detective shows where they analyze people's handwriting and they can tell like who, if it's a forgery, or like, because everyone's handwriting is so unique. My handwriting is like so crazy. I wonder if you would be able to analyze it, because it's just like all over the place depending on, the situation, the journal, how I'm feeling, like the day, that kind of thing. So who knows? And here you can see I'm using the, I don't know what you call it. What is this? Like some kind of label, Dymo label maker. Totally old fashioned, but I just really love the way it looks. I've always been a fan. And I've actually bought like different colors of this tape, not just the black, but I have the black in right now, so I'm just using it. But once this runs out, I'm probably going to put in the other colors. They had like a pinky coral color and like gold color, so I think that's cool that you can also buy different color tapes of this. So going along with the April prompt, I just like typed up some phrases, and I'm going to add that into my spread. Now I'm going to like look through the stickers and things that I have and see if there's anything that I want to use. It's interesting how anything that like Traveler's Notebook releases, I like want it in terms of like the stickers and things, because it's pretty limited, right? Like they don't have, ongoing lots of sticker packs, but when they have the yearly ones and stuff, and the ones that go with like the monthly dated inserts and stuff, I just want to buy the dated inserts because I want the stickers. But then I end up like hoarding them, and what is the point, right? What is the point? So I'm really, really trying to always like use my stuff. Like I want to use the items that I have, and I wish that my consumption, like in terms of my creation of things, like I wish I would use my supplies faster than I accumulate them. I don't know, does that make sense? Like obviously, over time, the more, like the longer you've been in this like stationery world and journaling and liking all these things, or any kind of like hobby craft, kind of thing, right? The more time you're in it, the more you're going to like accumulate like supplies, right? And granted, some things are like tools, which makes sense that you're going to, accumulate over time if it's a tool that like lasts, a lifetime and you're going to keep using it. But I just mean like supplies, like stickers, papers, memo pads, washi tapes, like that kind of thing. You always accumulate so much faster than you're like consuming them. And I wish it could be the other way around, to be like, oh my God, I finished all of my, print-on stickers, or I'm practically finished. I can go buy like a new set or something. I want it, like, I think that that's what I want. I wish it would be the opposite, right? That I'm not accumulating more and, increasing my stash all the time, rather than like using it, and then like my stash should be getting low, so then yes, it's totally fine that I'm gonna be shopping, you know. So right now I'm really into these like MU print-on stickers. I just really like them because of the rub-on nature, means that they're not going to add like crazy bulk to your journals, because they're so thin, and I really love them, but I sometimes like forget to use them, which is just crazy. And let me know if you guys have figured out a way to like organize all of your supplies, because I just have stuff everywhere. I have sticker books and I keep most of my stickers there, but then I have like an extra drawer pouch with like more. Then I have this other little baggie that has like lots of memo sheets and like a mishmash of things that I don't know where to put, so I've stuffed them in there. And again, it's that problem of like, you have such a variety, or I have such a variety of supplies that I forget what I have. So when I'm doing a spread, it's not like I'm going to remember like, oh, go look for XYZ, because that would be perfect, you know, because there's just too much, and like my brain, you know, is not processing all of it at the moment. So like I have a bunch of these tags, like they're really pretty, but for a long time I just had forgot that I bought them. And so I'm just going through all of this stuff, and again, I have bad organization, no organization basically. So every time I'm sort of like looking through everything and being like, what should I use? What should I use? What should I use? I don't know if people tend to organize by type, like all your stickers in one place, all your washi in one place, like all your stamps here, all your, you know, memo sheets, all your, I don't know, like different supply types together. Or do you create yourself like little kits, you know, where it could be a variety of supplies, but they go together, which is what like a lot of like subscription boxes or like scrapbooking kits or craft kits usually do. Like they're putting a bunch of different supplies together, like stickers, washi, whatever, but they have a theme and then they go together, so you technically are able to use them together and they won't like clash, right? Like part of the design work and like thoughts have already been done for you. So I tend to like vacillate between like, should I organize my stuff by type, because is that how I look for it? Or should I like create kits, so then I'll be like, okay, this week I'm going to use this kit and like do things in this theme. And then like the next week, go to another kit. So I'm like rotating through my supplies properly, rather than a lot of the time spent like now, where I'm just like looking through the whole stack of stickers or looking through the whole stack of memo sheets, because I don't remember like what is what and what will go with what. Although I always say that my collages are very like collage vomit, I say. I don't know, somebody I remember laughed so much at when I wrote that out, because I guess it doesn't sound very good. But I say that in the sense that I just sort of go with the flow and put a bunch of stuff together, whatever I feel like, but I'm not necessarily like thinking very hard about like design rules, or it has to be, you know, matching, or this pattern and this, you know, this color and everything has to be perfect. It's just sort of like a mishmash. And I think it's because sort of like when we're little kids, a lot of things are just sort of intuitive, or like you don't even care if it matches or not. You just want to like play with materials and, you know, rip papers and glue them and put things together and be like, yay, that was fun, you know? It doesn't actually have to be, quote unquote, a perfectly designed page, whatever that is. So when I do these kinds of pages, that's really what I'm doing. Like I'm just throwing stuff down, whatever I feel like, whatever like I fancy. And so it doesn't really have a lot of rhyme or reason or like design sense or whatever. And I mean, maybe innately, you know, sometimes we'll be like, okay, I put a bunch of stuff here, I'm going to put something on this other side so it looks balanced. Like those things sort of like naturally, you know, your preferences are sort of what drives like what you're doing. But I don't think like much about it. And so here's my like thingy of basket of washies. I really don't have that many washies. Again, I say that compared to people who have, you know, like so many drawers and beautiful washies. Like I just have a mishmash of them, but I still think it's like, I have too much. It's like I just don't want to have so many supplies. Like I want to use them, but at the same time, it's so easy to add to your your stash, because you see something and you're like, that's so pretty, I really want it, and I will use it, and then you just get carried away that way. So I'm just grabbing, and I guess I did gravitate towards like the same colors here, and I'm just collaging them together. And because I typed out those little phrases to go with answering the April prompt for this Cafe Analog Project Me prompt of ideas, I'm gonna put these like little big phrases here and there on this spread. And so when you look at this spread, of course, you are seeing those big phrases first, and then there's the journaling, and then there's like the collage all around. And I mean, I guess I do sort of pay attention to, try to make it look pleasing to the eye. I guess to my eye, I don't really know if necessarily, if you'll consider it good or not good. I don't know why I'm like caught up on that kind of stuff. Maybe it's because I come from like the graphic design world, and obviously there are design rules, that you're supposed to follow, and you can also break them, of course, right? Just like anything. But there are rules, just like when you learn photography, proportions and layouts and things like that. There are many sort of like templates almost that you can follow by that like look pleasing to the eye, like to the human eye. So design is very similar in that sense, and just using like negative space, positive, like all the things. And you can definitely go learn these things, but of course you can also break the rules to purposefully like draw attention to something, because you like, if something quote unquote is breaking the rule and then the eye is drawn to it, like maybe that's what you want, right? So again, all of these things. But I guess because I come from the graphic design world, whenever I like compose something, like underneath it all, I'm always thinking like, oh, does it have to be a certain way? And then I remind myself like, what am I talking about? Like, this is not, design work or something. I can do whatever I want. It can look horrible, like it can look ugly, it can look like a mishmash, like quote unquote collage vomit, right? Like you can do whatever you want. It is a personal thing. There's no need for it to be like necessarily balanced or whatever. Like, why does it even matter, if it's pleasing to the eye or not pleasing to the eye? Like, again, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all personal preference, right? But sometimes it's hard to like almost like make yourself be like everything is okay. Like, why is it so hard to just let yourself do whatever? Like, we tend to always feel like things have to be a certain way. So I'm using this little cute bear sticker because I think it's so cute. I bought like this pack of bear theme stickers because I'm definitely going through a bear phase. First, it was my daughter who was really into bears, and she asked for like all kinds of things bears, and then I just thought it was really cute as well, and I started like taking her things and be like, can I have this one? Can I have this one? And now we have like bear everything. My current everyday carry is actually a camel passport, and it has a bear patch on it, and my purse actually has like a little stuffed bear head like attached to it, sort of like a charm. And I actually, like, we bought a bunch of bear patches because I think we're gonna put it on like some jackets, like t-shirts, things like that. All these crafts and things that I have in mind to do with my daughter. I have 3 kids actually, but my daughter is the middle daughter. She's 7 years old, almost 8, and she is very, very crafty, like very into like this kind of stuff that I'm also into, which is a joy, you know what I mean, that we can do these kinds of things together. And the really cute thing is that she will create things for me, and she'll be like, put it in your journal, mommy. It's like, I made you this. So she keeps making me stuff. She went through like a phase where it's like a lot, so I had to like keep putting it into my journal. Now she's like a bit more calmed down, but she'll still make me things. And some things I just think they're so adorable. I've like laminated them and made them into like a bookmark or sort of like a pencil board kind of thing, so that I could keep it with me for more time. But yeah, it's just totally adorable. My older son, he is 10 years old, and unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, everybody does their own thing, right? But he's not very much into this. He's just like, whatever. So he's much more into like video games and stuff. And my youngest daughter is a newborn. I mean, actually, she's like 8 months, so she's not that new. But, obviously, we don't know yet if she's going to be into journaling or not, if she'll be influenced by her sister and by me. So we will see. But yeah, so now I'm pulling out these print-on stickers because I feel like I want to add some rub-on somewhere. And now that I'm looking back on it, I should have pulled out my stamps. Like, I never remember to use my rubber stamps, even though I have like a whole drawer full of them. But again, it's this problem of like sometimes you just don't remember the things that you have. Obviously, I can go back and add stamping to this page, like I have everything here. But again, it just goes back to my thoughts lately about consumption and all the supplies that I have, and am I using them? Like, why am I not using them? Why am I accumulating so much more quickly than I'm creating? And maybe that is just how life is. Like, you can't always be like using things exactly like what comes in, like gets used in real time, like perfectly. But I just would like for it to be a bit more balanced. And again, sometimes I always say like, oh, I don't have that much stuff compared to other people, because there will always be someone who has more stuff or whatever. But that shouldn't be the point, right? Like, we're not comparing, like, we don't need to compare ourselves with other people. It's whatever we feel. And I personally just feel like I have a lot of stuff, and I want to reduce it. You know what I mean? I want things to be more compact or organized, and like have my things and not be like it's all over the place in like 10 different drawers and feeling like I don't have space. I've always wanted to be like one of those households where you have like empty drawers or like empty shelves and things like that, because they're like, if you have an empty drawer and empty shelf, that means that you have space to like buy things, right? Because buying something means you're going to bring it into your household and it needs to go somewhere. It needs to have a place. Unfortunately, that is not always the case, that you have like empty spaces that need to be filled in. Or some people have that rule where they're like, if they buy something and they bring it into their household, they have to like get rid of something because everything has to balance out. Again, I've never been someone to be super strict about that stuff. But I do like that idea of like having an empty drawer or empty shelf space or whatever, rather than always like everything is like crammed in everywhere. Like, there's so much stuff, and it's really hard. Like, when you have kids, if you have kids, they like somehow there's just a lot of things, and in a way, like, you don't want to deprive your kids of having different materials and experiences, like things around them, because they need more, like the more sensory things that they have and they can experiment with, the better. It's good, I think so. And so I don't want to deprive them of this stuff, but like, it can get sort of out of hand because there's just so many things, and it just keeps adding on. And even when you try to declutter and things like that. And again, it's because I have 3 kids and they're pretty like far apart in age. And so it's like, you think you're done and then you're not. And then like more stuff comes in. So it's pretty crazy. So you can see here, I put a stack of washies to sort of create like this little area in the bottom right hand corner. Then I added some like just memo paper and like old packing paper, just because I like that craft packing paper that's all like sort of like cut up, that pattern. It's the type of paper that they use to pack items like in a box or something, so that it doesn't get like scratched up. But I kept it, so I just like having that in the background, and I put my bear sticker on top. And now I'm cutting out some pieces of the MU, is it MU or MU? I don't know how to pronounce it. The print on the rub-ons, and I'm cutting some of the sort of foliagey kind of ones and spreading them out across the spread so that it just adds like a little bit of mini detail in various parts of the spread. And another thing, now that I'm looking back, that I always forget to do is to go in and like add some doodling or drawing or something with like a very fine like black marker or brown marker or something like that. It's something that like I like the look of it, yet I always forget to do it myself. And it's always like an afterthought, which again, this is my personal journal, so obviously I can go back in and add to it, but like at the moment, it definitely doesn't come to mind, which again, makes me think it's like, do I have too much stuff? Am I just being cluttered and that's why I don't know what I'm doing anymore? I don't know. It's, again, first world, stationary problems. It's not really a problem. It's just my thoughts and things like that swirling around as I'm doing like, having some fun, because I have these like 30 minutes to, journal and do whatever I want because the kids are being taken care of and all is well. So I just took the time to do this monthly spread and happy to have finally like used a few of these rub-ons, even though, like if you saw earlier, I had a huge stack. There was like, I don't even know how it happened, but somehow I really liked rub-ons and I decided like, oh, I should just stock up, and like if you're paying for shipping, you're not going to buy like, one sheet kind of thing. So I bought like a huge stack. That's what happens. That's another thing that sort of annoys me in the sense that I don't live in an area with a local stationery shop where you can pass by and be like, I'm going to buy one pen, I'm going to buy one pack of stickers or one washi tape. When you're mostly ordering things online, because of the shipping costs and things like that, you're always wanting to do like a big order, to make it worth it, right? Or you're trying to like get to a big order amount so that you get free shipping or whatever. So another one of those things. Oh, this stamp. I just bought this stamp from AliExpress because I thought like the bottle shape was really cool and like vintage old, but the idea is that I'm going to use this for my ink swatching journal, which again, I have all the ideas and I have the supplies set aside and things, but I just haven't done it yet. But that will be a future video. I will definitely try to record it if I have enough time to. Actually, if it's an ink swatching journal, I probably only swatch one ink at a time, right? So I really can just record it in bits and like leave it on my desk to dry and then go to the next ink and go to the next ink. So maybe it'll work out. Okay, so I'm just going to take out this insert because I decided that I'm going to use this stamp. So again, I actually have a lot of stamps in my drawer, but this stamp I was going to use for ink swatching, and so it was on my desk like in the upper right hand corner, and that's why I suddenly thought like, oh, let me just stamp it on this spread, so I really need to like bring out my stamps more to use them, because I don't know, I like the look of it. I like the fact that a page has like a very wide variety of like elements. I don't know, it just makes it more fun. So you can see I am inking up the stamp, and then I'm using a baby wipe to take away like the outer edge part because I'm totally going to mess it up otherwise. Also because like the insert, it's sort of bumpy, even though I took it out of the TN, because there's like previous pages and things like that, it can get sort of crazy. If you're really like wanted like the perfect impression, you should probably prep your surface and things like that a lot better. But I just want to make sure I clean off like the rectangle shape, and then I'm just going to go for it. So, it's not going to be, super perfect or anything, but like good enough. I think the thing that bothers me the most is the like rectangle, whatever, shadowing around it, that has all that extra ink. But then again, sometimes if you're doing like a very grungy collage or something, it's actually cool to have those borders. So I don't know, to each his own, like it depends on what style you're going for. So I just stamped that on with sort of like I think it's like a brown ink. So totally looks cool. But now I feel like I should put something in the bottle shape because it's like empty. So I'm like searching around my supplies, and I end up doing like my go-to thing, which is in like a gajillion of my journals, because I have this one heart punch that I just really like. I mean, the heart motif is pretty classic and I really love it. And so I always punch out like these gold hearts, and you can see I have like a tiny little piece of this gold paper left. I think I've used it up so much I don't have much left, but I have a lot of these gold hearts in various journals and things because I just like it. It's like a classic, motif. Hearts, can't go wrong. And so I added that in. So I'm pretty much done now. I'm like looking at my page and sort of thinking like, is there anything I want to add or is it all good? Obviously not all of it is filled up necessarily. Whereas usually I'm like pretty like very much a maximalist. I like fill up all the spaces, but I did leave like a little bit of space there. By the way, I wanted to share this fountain pen that I have. It is Jin Hao, which is like sort of like a sailor dupe, but it's like super affordable Chinese brand. And I actually bought two of them where it's like the transparent brown and then the sort of creamy colored, and then I mixed them so it looks sort of like the coffee colored or it looks like the coffee pen that a lot of people are like wanting to get, but it costs obviously hundreds of dollars, whereas this is like $5, you know what I mean? So it is a fountain pen and it works, decently. I'm sure it's not, as great as having a gold nib or anything like that, but for the price, it's super economical and you can like, have your fountain pens and try things out before investing in something obviously that costs, 10 times the amount. So I just decided I wanted to like outline the heart because it looked like it was like it didn't seem to show up as much. I don't know why, but I have like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a sepia kind of ink, but it looks more like reddish almost to me. And sorry, I don't know like all the names and things. I'm like a total beginner. But this time around, because I had my fountain pen like on my desk, I ended up doing just a little bit of like, adding little doodle lines and things like that. Which is something, like I said before, I often don't do because I like forget. And of course, you can always go back in and add more. But I just added like tiny little marks. I don't know if it is even that noticeable, but it all came from trying to outline that heart. And of course, I just like smeared that because I put my hand into it. So I am no expert at using fountain pens. I like the fact that you can refill fountain pens and you're like using the ink and you can see like the stamp and the fountain pen, like it works decently well on this paper. Like it doesn't bleed through, so it's okay. So this is the page that I've created and I'm pretty happy with it. And I guess as always, as usual, the part that I don't like is my own handwriting because I just think it's bleh. I wish I had, pretty penmanship, which I think is why oftentimes I like to do hidden journaling and stuff, because then you don't see it immediately. But at the same time, if I just wrote slower, maybe it would be a little better. I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys like your own handwriting? Like, I feel like a lot of people that do share on Instagram have really nice penmanship. So I'm always staring at their spreads and being like, oh my God, it's so pretty. It's just so nice. And maybe it's just because I'm not putting enough effort into it in improving my, penmanship. I never had good handwriting. And I think it's funny how, I remember from my high school days, people would always think, if you're a girl, you must have pretty handwriting and it's neat. Whereas if you're a guy, it's okay if it's crazy. Well, I always had horrible handwriting, so I never had consistency or pretty penmanship. So, oh well, too bad. But let me know down in the comments what you think of this spread. Also, what you think of real-time journal with me kind of thing. I don't know if this is something that you like seeing, and maybe you're journaling along with me. It would always be cool to grab a cup of something warm and drink and journal along while watching YouTube videos, which is something that I definitely do as well. I always play YouTube videos and just let it run while I'm doing things. And again, I think that really helps creators as well, because you're like consuming their content and the ads roll and all that kind of stuff, and it's all cool. So thank you so much for watching, and you can leave a comment below. You can hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be sharing more things stationery. And by the way, if you like digital printable files, be sure to check out my Ko-fi feed, where you can support me with tips, and also join the membership to get access to monthly digital paper packs. If you want to try out digital printables for free, just go to my blog, tortagialla.com. You can download years and years of freebies that I have posted. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a lovely day.